Hey y'all. Okay, tonight we are going to do an Asian style pepper steak. Okay, I know we have done pepper steak before, but I do several different pepper steak recipes, and this one is going to be like an Asian style flavor. Okay, so in my cup here, I have half a tablespoon of brown sugar, and I have half a tablespoon of cornstarch. Okay, that's going to be where we are going to start. Let's see, that brown sugar's done trying to get hard on me. We'll have to get that mixed up really good. And I'm trying to break this recipe down a little bit because it seems like my recipe, I feel like it was whenever I made it, it was to make a lot more. So I have really cut that down. So now we have 1/4 cup of beef broth. We're going in. So what we're doing here, y'all, I didn't even tell y'all. So what we're doing right here is making up our sauce that's going to go over our pepper steak after we get it all cooking. I've already got the steak over here marinating, which I'll tell y'all about that in a minute. I've already got all my peppers and onions diced up. So I just want to get this made and set aside so we will have it. So now we're going to do some soy sauce. I have a little bit of both here, the reduced sodium and just the regular. I'm going to do see how much I have in this. I don't know. We're going to need 1/4 cup of soy sauce. The same amount as you would do for your beef broth, okay? And my original recipe calls for half a cup of each, but like I said, I think that is just based on the fact that I used to make a lot more, you know? So I thought, I don't need that much tonight. I'm just going to cut it back in half. So that's what I'm doing right now. I am just going to cut it down to 1/4 of each. Okay, and then all the other stuff I'm cutting in half too, of course. All right, so in here we have half tablespoon cornstarch, half tablespoon of brown sugar, 1/4 cup of soy sauce, 1/4 cup of beef broth. Okay. And then the only other thing that we are going to add into this is some good fresh ginger. Now, I don't always have fresh ginger, obviously, but we want to add in about a good 2 teaspoons of this. Now, I tell you, the ideal thing to have is that ginger paste, and I've been meaning to get me some of that. So y'all grab you some of that. If you want to make this recipe and you don't have the stuff and you want to grab the stuff, get you some of that paste. That's what I would have chosen to use if I had some. I didn't have any, and I keep forgetting to get it whenever I go to the store. But that would be perfect for this. Okay, let me get my lids back on my bottles over here. And then this is all done. This is our sauce. Here are our peppers and onions. Here is our steak. I did 2 ribeyes, and I just sliced them up in slices, and I've had them marinating here. In my marinade, I did 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. I did 1 tablespoon of cornstarch and 1 tablespoon of sesame oil. Okay, and that's it. I've just had these sitting here, just hanging out, marinating. You can do this and let them sit for however long you want. That's just, there's no certain time, okay? So that's what we're going to get going first is our steak, okay? So I'm going to get our burner going. Let's see here. How am I going to move all this out of the way? Let's move this over here for now. Here's our sauce. I will kind of stick it back here. You don't have to try to make room for everything to get y'all up here. Alright, so I have this on about a medium high, and for our steak here to sear up, we're going to start with about 2 tablespoons of our sesame oil. This is basically the only thing that you have to get. Let me find my little thing up here. This is basically the only thing that you have to get that's kind of a little bit different than what you would normally have in your pantry, is just the sesame oil. Now, a lot of these recipes calls for oyster sauce. Now, if you want to grab some of that, you can. I never do. I just go without it, and it works out perfect. But if you want to get some, you can. And also, like I said, I use the fresh ginger. The ginger paste would be perfect. That's what if I had that, I would use it. Or if not, you can always do just the ground ginger, like that's in like the little season bottle. Okay, so any of those work. So basically, outside of that, all you would really need that you wouldn't normally have, or what I wouldn't normally have, rather, would be the sesame oil. And that's it. And it keeps for the longest of time. If you like to occasionally do Asian dishes. You know, that's the thing about trying to make other styles of foods, is just because you have to buy so many ingredients. So that's why I try to keep it simple and just a few extra things that we have to get, okay? So what we're going to do now is just sear up our beef a little bit. I just cut these in like little strips, y'all. Let's see, is it getting hot? I'll go ahead and start laying them in there. Let's see, I did 2 ribeyes. You can do whatever style of meat that you want to do. And we're just going to cook this up a little bit. Turn it down a little bit. I like for mine to get that good sear on it, so I don't like to kind of overload it. I may do this in 2 batches, or I may just do it all in one. We'll see. And you can also definitely do this dish with chicken, if you want to do chicken. Chicken pepper, or pepper chicken. I just always call this pepper steak because it just reminds me of my other pepper steak. You know, I also do the one that's like more of like a American style. I love it too, but I also love this one. There's so many different ways you can make all of this kind of stuff, you know. So I'm going to show you with this batch, and then I'll do the other batch here in a minute. Let me see if I can squeeze a few more in here. You basically just want them where each side, you just don't want to overcrowd it, where each side can get that good little sear color. Let me get you on up here. Goodness gracious. There we go. Now y'all can see. See where it starts to get that little bit of a brown tint to it. Yep, that's good. This part's a little bit of work, but it's worth it. It is worth it. That sesame oil really does the trick now. I mean, that's one of those things that if you grab it, you can keep it in your cabinet for a long time, and you'll be glad that you did, because most of these type of dishes call for that, and so then you will use it more than just this one time. Okay? Well, I can get that one flipped over. There we go. turn it back down now just a little bit. I'm going to get me a plate out. You'll see how fast this goes. That's why I wanted to go ahead and have all of our sauces and everything done, because once you get this going, it goes quick. And I like to try to cook these about, I don't know, I like a medium plus, if y'all have ever heard of that. I like it a little bit more done than medium, but not medium well. So I call it medium plus. So you just kind of want to turn that back down now a little bit more. Oh yeah, and also I told y'all my marinade that I put on these pieces of steak. I also did some black pepper, and I'm fixing to do a little bit more. I don't know if the Asian style calls for black pepper or not, but I like to add it. It gives it a little bit of something extra, especially whenever they're in here cooking up like this. I love it. So keep that in mind. If you like black pepper, that's a good thing to add, okay? Alright, y'all, I think we have cooked these about long enough. You can see here how they look. I am going to get these out, and then I will put our second batch in and cook those. I won't keep you while I cook the other ones. I just kind of wanted you to see kind of how I like to do it. But anyway, I'm going to get these out, put our other ones in, and then I'll come back and we'll go on to the next step. Alright, y'all, we are going to start cooking our peppers and onions. But I want y'all to see our steak here. Does that not look good? And I'm just going to go ahead and tell you. I know it's not Asian style, but after I got it out and put it on this plate here, I sprinkled it with a little bit of my Kinder's, the blend. Y'all know I love it. It's just salt, pepper, garlic, okay? And if you don't have enough liquid in here, like you can see, I have quite a bit of that sesame oil left, so I'm not going to add any right now. I might have to as they cook, but I'm just going to leave it as is for now. And I'm going to toss our peppers and onions in. I have some red, some green, and some onions. Okay? And we're just going to toss these around. Break them all up really good. I think I did about half of an onion. And then I did about half of a green bell pepper and half of a red. You can do whichever colors or kinds, whatever you want. Yeah, see, those veggies soak up that oil like really, really quick. So I'm going to put just another little splash in. Okay? And you don't want to get these, or I don't like to get them completely soft. I like for, a lot of times whenever I'm making veggies like this, I like for them to be soft. But for something like this, you kind of still want to have a little bit of crunch, okay? So I'm thinking we're only going to toss these around and cook them for maybe, I don't know, 6, 7 minutes, 5 minutes. We'll just have to see, okay? So I'm going to let those hang out and I'll come back. Okay, y'all, these are cooking up nicely. And before we add any of our other stuff in, I'm going to also hit this with some of my hinders the blend. Again, I know this is not authentic. I don't claim for it to be. It's just the way I want to do it. Alright. Also, okay. Just gonna let these cook on down, y'all, for just a few minutes. And by the way, I forgot to tell you, I already have my rice here that I cooked. I just did a long grain jasmine rice, and I seasoned it. I used a little bit of butter, fried it up. Like, y'all, if you have not seen my video of how I prepare my long grain rice, you can look back on my page. I just did some not long ago, or I may even tag it in the comments. But I do a little bit of butter. First I rinse my rice, and then I saute it around a little bit of butter, kind of fry it up. Then I add the liquid in, and then tonight I did some beef bouillon, since we were doing more of like a beef type dinner. Sometimes I do chicken bouillon. I just change it up, okay? But anyway, the way that I do it, there's a video of it, and if you just want to scroll back on my page, you'll see it. It's not that long ago, so it'll come up pretty quick. But anyway, I went ahead and got that done ahead of time. And anyway, I'm gonna let these cook, y'all, and I'll be back. It smells so good. Alright, y'all, look at our peppers and onions. They are cooking up so good. They got a little char on them. That's what I love. I have turned them back down now, just a little bit, and now we are going to toss in some garlic, and we're just going to let that cook for about 30 seconds or so. And then we'll add our other stuff in. You want to get I'm thinking about 2 teaspoons for this amount. So, you want to toss that in. If you have fresh garlic, you can definitely use that. I just had a few little pieces over here. So I thought, well, I'm not even going to mess with that. I'm just going to do my little jar of garlic. It always works out just as good. There it goes, y'all. Very good. Smells so good. And you just want to keep tossing them around, after you put it in there. Just kind of let that cook for just a second. Okay. Alright, now we are going to take our delicious looking beef. We are going to toss that back in, and all those good liquids that's on the pan or on the plate. Goodness, excuse me, that was a little bit loud, wasn't it? Now we're going to toss these around. Okay, and then I'm going to mix this up really good, and then I'm not going to put all this in there at one time. I'm going to do a little at a time, and we're going to see. You know, we have that cornstarch in here, so it is going to thicken up, which is what we want. But I don't want it to be too much. Y'all know how I am about sauce. So, alright, that's about half of it. Okay, let's start with that right there. I'm going to turn it up a little bit. That way that cornstarch can kind of help thicken it up. Smells certainly good, I know that. Okay, y'all, I'm just going to mix this around for a few minutes, see where we're at. I'll come back and we'll see if we need to add more of our sauce or if we're good where we're at. Okay, y'all, our pepper steak is done. And you can see here, it all cooked down really good. Only other thing I'm going to add to this is probably a little bit of sesame seed, just for some good color. And for our sauce here, you can see this is how much I have left. If you can see that down there. So I didn't use quite all of it. But again, that's always a personal preference. So this is just, I would say, about 2 tablespoons here that I have left. Back in the day, whenever I made this, I made like a whole big pot. So I had already cut my recipe in half, and it was still a little bit too much. I didn't want it to just overtake all this, okay? So I refrained from adding just a little bit of all of it. Anyway, I'm going to let this just cool down, sit here for a minute. I've got it turned off. Of course, like I said, I've got our rice back here. And whenever I come back, we're going to plate this up, y'all. It is smelling amazing. Okay, y'all, let's plate some up. So I'll show you what I did here. I put on a few sesame seeds, and I have those chives. You'll know that I've been using on different things here lately. Now, green onions would have been my choice, but I didn't have any, so I just threw on a little bit of chives. That will work just fine. So now I am going to fix up my plate. Let's look at our rice here. This is, you know, I do my little rice trick or the way that I do it, and it's just, I like for it to be fluffy like this and not weighted down and mushy and that whole thing. So this looks like this did great. I love it to look like this. Like, this is how I want my rice to look. If y'all go back on my page, like I said, if you didn't see it before, you will see it. It will be there. And it works out for me every single time. This is the kind of rice that you will get. And this is, I mean, to me, this is what you would want. But everybody likes things different, so put me some rice down in there. Okay. Now I'm going to get out some of our good stuff here. Place it over the top. Get some more veggies. And I think you could even do, I know this is called pepper steak, but I think you could even toss in some broccoli or just different veggies if you wanted to. And I think it would even still be good like that. Now, I made me a little salad. It's in the fridge. I'll get it out in a second. I forgot to get it out. But it's nothing to show off. It was just, it's just a little salad that I threw together to have with this. But look at this, y'all. That look good, good, good. I like for that, a little bit of that sauce to kind of get down there on that rice. And that's what I'm saying. That's going to all depend on how much sauce you want to add. Do you want to have a little bit more to where it's going to run down on there? Or do you like it more like just a tighter, thicker consistency like I like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know everybody's different. So anyway, let's give this a taste. You know, when I get to talking, I get tongue-tied and everything else. This is so good, and I love it with that rice. Like I said, with the rice, I just added, I fried it up in some butter. And then when I put the liquid in, I always do less liquid. And then I did beef bouillon for this instead of chicken. I may like the beef bouillon better than I do the chicken. I don't know. But this is certainly good. I know that. This rice is perfect. The texture could not be any more perfect. I love it. This definitely tastes like a Asian dish that you would get at a restaurant. It is so good. Y'all got to try this. This is perfect. If you want to do an Asian dish one night, try this, make you this rice. Like I said, go back. Or if y'all are having trouble, just let me know and I will even link it in the comments. It should be at the very top of the comments. But this rice works out perfect for me every single time. And it is fluffy just like that. And it is so good with anything. Not even just this. I'm talking about if you're doing chicken, whatever you're doing, the rice is perfect. This pepper steak is delicious. Anyway, I will see y'all next time. Bye-bye.